Well, listening to that interview today is our international affairs editor, Armin Georgian, and we can talk to him now. Armin, tell us what's been discussed so far. As we heard in that soundbite, police violence, one of the issues that's come up.
That's right. There's a lot about the police and also about this controversial Article 24 of the security law, which relates to whether the police can be filmed or not in the future. A lot of discussion about the police, and Macron really rejecting the term police violence. He kept insisting, and there was this sort of tug of war, so to speak, with his interviewers about what terms to use. For him, essentially, if you accept the term police violence, you're kind of implying that the police in general are violent. And I think that he's kind of really pushing back against that notion in this interview. He said it's better to talk about violence which can come from different sides. It can come from the police, of course. It can also come from other places. For example, he referred to the police officer who was recently pulled to the ground and trampled on. So he's trying to essentially put the emphasis on violence in society as a whole and how that affects people's behavior in general, rather than single out the police. Obviously, this is not going to be to the liking of many of those who are watching this live stream, as you can tell from the comments on Facebook, which I'm following as they come up live. But in terms of actual remedies, he did put something forward, which is not completely new. This was actually mentioned by his Interior Minister, Gérald Darmanin, a few days ago, and that is body cameras, which are already being used, of course, in many other countries, Canada, Australia, the UK, the US, and so forth. And he said these are going to be used much more widely from next summer, and he thinks that will provide a kind of deterrent behavior. He said that a police officer who wears a body cam is not going to behave the same way as a police officer that is not wearing a body cam. So that is at least one point that is perhaps will take this issue forward in some way.
Tell us, Armin, why you think Macron has chosen to give this interview to Brut, this online website, and why now?
Well, Brut is a purely online operation. 70% of its viewers are young people, that's to say under 35. That's according to figures from Brut in 2019. I think a lot of these issues, police violence, of course, it is a big issue or violence committed by some police officers, however you want to phrase it. Of course, it's a big issue for young people. And I think one point that he did, where he tried to talk in a slightly more kind of direct way to young people than what he normally does, is when he was talking about the issue of police checks. He said, if you are of North African origin, or if you're black, if you're not white, essentially, you're not treated the same. I can't quite remember another time when he said that. Maybe he has, but I don't remember it. So I think that was perhaps a slightly different tone or emphasis. I don't know if it's completely new language, but it also he said, on that issue, there's going to be an online platform launched with a number that you can call if you've been discriminated against on the basis of your skin color in a police check, and other forms of discrimination as well, which Macron alluded to. That's to say, people who are not white when they try to get a job or they try to get housing, and the discrimination that they feel they are receiving at that point. There will be a national number that they will be able to call and also log complaints on this new platform, this digital platform that will be unveiled. Some of the comments that you can see on Facebook about that are quite ironic and say, oh, great, this is going to be like the cahier de doléances, the log of complaints that was launched in the big citizens' debate. You remember all that after the yellow vest protest, that somehow some people think this is just a way of sweeping the issue under the carpet by logging complaints, and then the whole thing will be forgotten about. So there is some skepticism already about this national digital platform to record these complaints.
All right, Armin Georgian, thank you very much indeed. We've been hearing a little bit there about that interview Emmanuel Macron is giving today to the online platform Brut. Let's move on for you now and head